He's back. Yep, that's right. Girl that made crazy cool. You know, the person some people like date crazy chicks. That's her. She's back. All right. We're gonna talk about that. This is DA Wrestling, Canadian YouTube guy, Andrew. DA Wrestling. Hey, let's talk about this stuff. Here we go. Okay. On today's show, obviously, we're going to talk about AJ Lee. That's a huge thing that just happened on SmackDown here. It's right. It's filmed on Friday. It's been a while since I've done this, but hey, it'll work. All right. So we're going to talk about AJ Lee. Also, we're going to talk about a couple things that happened on SmackDown. Right. Just the gist of it, in a nutshell. The important parts. Right. We're also going to talk about something I haven't really talked about on this show, I think, ever. And that is, well, Ronda Rousey. Why not? Because she likes to spark up stuff. Let's talk about it. Hey, before I do, though, make sure you like, share, subscribe down below, though. Small click for you, big click for us here at EA Wrestling. We appreciate it all. We thank you very much. Let's on to the show. Okay. So, SmackDown this week emanated from Chicago. Place I have personal love for. Right? Yes, this is Toronto, this is Ontario. Yes, I am a Jays fan, but I also am a very large White Sox fan. I know it's not the Cubs, but I am a White Sox fan, nevertheless. So, I also like the Bulls and stuff. I got a little bit of love for the Bears, too. So, even though I am a Cowboys fan. Yes, put your comments and laughs down below. Anyway, let's talk about this. So, music starts up. It's the last segment of the show. Right? The longest segment, too. Well, kind of. Right? Seth Rollins' music hits. He comes out, but not through the main entrance, not through the main stage and all that, but through the crowd a little bit. But he stands at the top of the crowd. Right? Just laughing. Right? And then he makes a little announcement saying that the greatest women's champion of all time comes out, which is Becky Lynch. And by the way, I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I might have, but I haven't. Maybe I've done it yet. Maybe I will have. But hey, does anybody think Becky Lynch's the theme music's pretty awesome? Like it is really good actually. It's quite a banger of a tune. It really is. Right? But nevertheless, she comes out, starts running down Chicago. Typical heel stuff. She says that how the Bulls are garbage, the Cubs are garbage, the White Sox are garbage. I mean, she's not wrong really about the White Sox. They are kind of garbage this year. The Cubs are pretty good though, right? Bulls season has left to be well, you get C to be remained. See what goes on the rest of that year. The Blackhawks, she nailed that. She didn't knock the Bears though. It's because Seth Rollins is a massive Bears fan, right? But she did say CM Punk sucks too, right? Which prompted CM Punk to come out, right? He came on out, right? Started talking to her a little bit. This isn't about you. You assert yourself here. It's about me against him. He's obviously hiding behind you. She's like, what are you going to do about it? This involves me. What are you going to do about it, right? You're going to do, right? He goes, oh, I could probably get one of my sisters here who are in the crowd, in the front row, come out there and beat your ass, right? He mentioned Bailey. Right? Let's just say, oh, I beat her too, or I beat her too. I'll beat your sister's butt. I already beat Bailey. He mentioned then too. He also, called a favor from Rhea Ripley. Becky didn't like that one too much. He didn't really say much about that. Right? But then she just starts slapping CM Punk like she did very much on Raw. Right? CM Punk gets out of the ring. Everyone knows I can't hit a woman, but this person can. And out comes Light It Up. And AJ Lee comes out to a huge ovation of the crowd. Everyone's stoked to see her. She seemed generally really excited, happy to be back. Right? She comes on down, does her typical skip around the ring. Right? Looks like she really lost a step up. By the way, she's looking really good for someone who has not been in the ring for a very long time. She's looking fantastic, actually. Right? She got the abs still showing from the last time. Good for her. Right? Gets in the ring. Does a typical sit on the ropes kind of stuff, right? The chick who's crazy, right? Her and Becky Lynch end up going at it. She ends up taking kind of, gets all of it all over on Becky Lynch. Basically, gives a beating on her. Right? Punk gets back in the ring. They embrace. They hug. Right? Obviously, we are going towards this whole probably WrestlePalooza in Indianapolis. CM Punk and the returning AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. That's obviously going to happen. Right? It's great to see AJ Lee. The question you got to ask yourself, those two, is how long is this for? Is it just a one-off? Right? Is it just to be a couple episodes? Maybe a Raw, SmackDown here and there, and then WrestlePalooza? And then you're kind of just going to go, see you later, bye? Or is AJ Lee going to stay for a bit longer? Maybe a year, right? If this is the case, who do you guys want to see? Who do you guys want to see? Comment down below. Who you guys think she should be wrestling? She should go against, I mean, to be honest with you, we didn't get a lot of that stuff before. Like, we didn't really get a lot of this stuff with Becky, Charlotte, and all that stuff, right? When AJ Lee was there, right? Her last match, don't forget, was in Santa Clara, for WrestleMania 31, I believe it was, right? In San Francisco, right? So, guys, that was really her, like, second last match, or like her last go by was like on the Raw. So, we hadn't really get a chance to see us. There wasn't really much that went on. Okay? Plus, AJ Lee herself has elevated, not AJ Lee, Becky Lynch has elevated so much higher than what she was before, right? So is Charlotte Flair, right? Who do you guys want to see? I like to see Becky Lynch. Maybe she's the one that takes the IC title off of Becky. Although that depends on whether she's there for a while or not. Right? If she's only there for a one-off, maybe a match or two, then I wouldn't expect that. But if she's there for, like, say, a year, I can see her having an IC title run. I can see her having a world title run. Probably won't be long, but I can see her having it. Would you like to see her against Rhea Ripley? Perhaps, Liv Morgan. Perhaps Julia. Or Stephanie Fakir. Right? Or even a thing with Bayley. Right? There's a lot of stuff there, with Bayley and CM Punk being friends and all that stuff. Maybe they are seeing the crazy side of AJ Lee come out, where AJ Lee's all of a sudden, like, gets the jealous side of her, with Bayley or whatever. Like, who knows? Right? How they want to do this. It could be a lot of things. So, looking forward to see what happens with AJ Lee here. More stuff will come out, obviously, about her, whether she's here for a long period of time or not, or it's just maybe one match or two off kind of thing. We'll find out more. But hey, AJ Lee's back. Huge ovation. Good for her. Good to see her. Hey, like I said, she looks good still, guys. Look at she never really left, which is great. All right, moving on. Guess who got a match on SmackDown? Has been a few weeks. The person who I mentioned, who am I seeing against AJ Lee? Julia. She was on SmackDown defending her Women's U.S. title this week. Good for her. Yes, I know she's on with segments and all stuff, but it's not the same as her wrestling. So let's just back that one up a little bit, up there, okay? She ended up having a match against Michin for the women's U.S. title. Look, set aside with Julia for a second here. I understand Michin, though. You gotta give her at least some kind of small title run with this thing at some point. You really do. She's kind of earned it, in my opinion. But Julia's good. It's good to see Julia on there too, right? You can see her actually wrestling. She's someone you could easily market better too with what you're doing with her. It's kind of like almost like her NXT stuff was great. Was quite good for the small sample that we did have. Let's be honest, right? To whatever this is now, right? Now it seems like garbage. But hopefully this may be a turning point. Hopefully maybe that we can get Julia going more focused on stuff. I'd like to see her have this title for a little bit, eventually lose it. Maybe Michin is the one that takes the title off her, right? Then moves into the world title range. I'd like to see that meet with Julia. I think it'd be a great idea, right? She's build a company more, but you need to let her do more, in my opinion, right? Seriously, right? Like, not that everything is Kiana James, right? But I think you just make her as a full-out angry, bad heel, Her heel work in Japan was very good. Go do that. Seriously. All right, moving on. We had also impromptu men's US title match tonight. Now, that's not really the big part about the story, but it was really cool. Sami Zayn, right? And John Cena opens the show. Sami Zayn comes out, or maybe it was reversed. Can't remember. Right? He comes out and basically challenges John Cena to a U.S. title match. Now, why does he do this? Why would he just put this out on the line like that? Well, one, he wants to be a fighting champion. Yes. Number two, 10 years ago, they mentioned it on SmackDown. Sami Zayn debuted on the main roster in a John Cena U.S. title challenge. He was brought to the ring by Bret Hart. Right? Had an excellent match. I remember that match very well. It really elevated Sami Zayn to the main roster. And Sami Zayn wanted to have a match again with John Cena, one of his last match. It was a really good match here. Excellent match. John Cena pulling up the Kevin Owens pop-up powerbomb, because shortly after that, too, I believe it was, or maybe it was before that. I think it was actually after, right? Kevin Owens debuted on the main roster as the NXT champion, right? The whole infamous John Cena pop-up powerbomb in the middle of Raw, right, for the U.S. challenge. So, it's a good match there, but the big point of it was that Brock Lesnar came out. John Cena hit Avalanche AA. They're both out. Brock's music hits. Brock comes on down, right? Gets in the ring. F5 Sammy, just for the hell of F5 Sammy. I mean, he's just kind of there. And then proceeds to F5 John Cena. Walks to the back, and he's in the back there, walking away saying, "I'll see you at WrestlePalooza." Beep. Okay, simple as that. Real easy, right? So, obviously, we're getting John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. Now, we talked about this a few weeks ago. This was definitely a major possibility that was going to happen. Probably where they want to do this. So, the question is, though, have they decided then who's going to go over? Is it going to be John or is it going to be Brock? I kind of think it might be John right now. I think it might be John. Maybe they revisit Lesnar at the end of the year. Or maybe it is just, maybe, because the biggest question right now is who's going to retire John? Because John's the kind of guy who's, like, I don't see John doing a Sting thing and winning a title, then just retiring. That's what they did with Sting. Sting won the tag team titles and then retired. So, I don't see John doing that. I'm kind of surprised that Sting did that. But that happened. I don't see John doing it, though. So, who is still, it's the question out there is who is going to retire John Cena? Will it be Brock? Will it be Roman? You go through his rivalries. Now, I did mention a while back, too, Edge's contract, or Adam Copeland, or Cope, his contract ends apparently in October. Is it possibly does a one-off and retires John? Yeah, that's probably out there if that can happen. As long as he wraps up all his other stuff with Christian and all that stuff. Right? Obviously, they're gonna be in Toronto for All Out. Is it possible? Yeah. All depends on what goes on there. Right? Let's just see what happens. But yes, we're getting Brock Lesnar versus John Cena at WrestlePalooza. Probably a semi-main event thing there because it's Brock and John, let's be honest. Right? Do I think we're going to see a Brock Lesnar just dismantle John Cena? No. Like he did at SummerSlam a number of years ago? No. But I can see it being a hell of a good match. Question is, who's going to win? Comment down below. Comment down below, comment in the comments. We want to see them. And our last story we're going to talk about. I've never talked about this on here. We're going to talk about it right now. Ronda Rousey. Yes, I know. A lot of you probably just go, ah. Ronda Rousey opened her mouth about wrestling. Now, far be it from me to crap on her MMA career. A lot of people argue that she was the right girl at the right time against beating people who had no right even in a title shot against her. Then other people say she's a trailblazer and all those things. Both are right. Right? But her time in WWE, to be honest with you, was quite good. She went off about her frustrations, though. Mostly it was all basically in the Vince McMahon era. Right? Because they want, they dangle she says, dangle the carrot in front of me, about the whole, working with Shayna Baszler, working with Jessamine Duke, working with Marina Shafir, right? Doing a whole four women horsewomen of MMA against the four women of NXT or WWE, the new evolution. Charlotte came out even and said too that she deserves a lot more credit for what she did. She helped elevate a lot of people, and she did. In the WWE at the time, she helped elevate people like Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, right? You can argue that they would have probably headlined WrestleMania that year in New York if it wasn't for someone like Ronda Rousey. So you can argue that point. You can argue that Becky Lynch would never even been in that position, knowing it was Charlotte Flair. You can argue it. Okay? But Ronda's shooting her mouth off about the WWE and all that stuff crack time. The way I see it is this. WWE used her and her star power to build a division. Not wrong in saying that. Right? Ronda Rousey, though, should also have a little more respect for what those people do. It may not be what you do or did in the past, but it's still a very physical sport. Injuries happen all the time. You've seen them. Right? Did you like the fact that you had to wrestle Alexa Bliss? No, you didn't apparently. But hey, it happened. Right? Do we think there's people in MMA who went against you? That should have happened? Absolutely. We felt the same way about some of your MMA matches. Fights. We seriously felt the same way about it. Some people had a lot of women in there who had no right to face you. Just like you said that Alexa Bliss had no right to face you. So hey, it's okay. Right? But either way, Ronda Rousey, right? She took to wrestling very, very well. And she should be, in a sense, congratulated the fact that she helped elevate a women's division that, to be honest, with you, was basically dead in the water for the most part. Well, not dead in the water. It was hovering well. But if it wasn't for Ronda Rousey coming in there, then having that main event with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair and helping elevate that division, we probably wouldn't be where we are today with the women's wrestling. Yes, they had Evolution. She was there against Nikki Bella, the first one, but you wouldn't have had the opportunity we are now at, right? Where the women are headlining more and more regularly. So hey, show a little more compassion, show a little more positivity towards the WWE. They did a lot for you as you did a lot for them. It might be reversed. But hey, either way, show a little more respect for people, right? Anyway, that's all I got here for this week on the show. Thank you very much for watching. AJ Lee is back. Brock's taking on Cena at WrestlePalooza. Everything's turning up Millhouse. Have a good one, guys. Make sure you follow us there on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, as well as Podbean for the audio versions there. Make sure you follow us here. Stick that little subscribe button there on YouTube. Thank you very much. Follow us on X, DA Wrestling. We appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. We'll see you later. Talk to you soon. Oh, yes. By the way, take a look at some of the shorts. Take a look at the last short we just did here. All right? Have a good one, guys. Talk about AJ Lee on it. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Be good. Talk to you soon. Bye.